The grand hall of the palace was eerily silent. The royal court, once a place of counsel and strategy, was now filled with whispers and doubtful glances. A man stood at the center, bound in chains, his once proud stance slightly bowed, but his eyes steady and unwavering. This was Minister Theron, the king's most trusted advisor, now accused of treason. King Suraj sat on his ornate throne, his face a mask of betrayal and anger. "Theron," the king's voice thundered, "you, who were my most trusted minister, stand accused of conspiring against the throne. What do you have to say for yourself?" Theron took a deep breath, his voice calm. "Your Majesty, I have always served you with unwavering loyalty. What you see as treason is, in truth, my greatest act of devotion." The court gasped. The king narrowed his eyes. "Devotion? You conspired with my enemies. How is that devotion?" Theron smiled faintly. "Because sometimes a loyal man must make himself appear a villain to protect the one he serves." The room held its breath. What could he mean? Why would he willingly take the fall? What was the secret behind his actions? Rewind several months. Minister Theron had always been known for his wisdom, integrity, and absolute loyalty to the king. His strategic mind had won countless battles, and his counsel had steered the kingdom through political storms. But loyalty, he knew, came at a price. The neighboring kingdom of Vandhara had been preparing for war, their king, Rajan, eager to seize Suraj's lands. Theron, sensing the impending danger, sought to uncover their strategies. However, Vandhara was cautious. No spies could infiltrate their walls. It was then that Theron made a fateful decision. He would become the villain his enemies would trust. One night, Theron secretly traveled to Vandhara under the guise of a traitor, offering intelligence on his own kingdom. King Rajan, suspicious at first, tested him. Theron, knowing the cost, gave him just enough truth to be believed while ensuring no true harm would come to his homeland. Back in Suraj's court, whispers began to spread. Why was Theron absent so often? Why did Vandhara's forces seem to anticipate their moves, yet never deliver a fatal strike? Even King Suraj began to doubt his most trusted man. As Theron continued his dangerous game, suspicion grew. His fellow ministers watched him with wary eyes, and even the people began to question his loyalty. Theron remained silent, bearing the weight of their mistrust. He knew that if he revealed his true intentions, his plan would fail. He had to play the role of a traitor to save the kingdom. One evening, Theron returned from another secret meeting with Vandhara's king. As he entered the palace gates, soldiers surrounded him. He did not resist. He knew this moment would come. He was taken before King Suraj, who looked at him with disappointment and sorrow. "Is it true?" Suraj's voice was softer this time. "Have you betrayed me, Theron?" Theron bowed his head. "If that is what you believe, then so be it." The court erupted in anger. "Execute him," some cried. Others demanded he be thrown into the dungeons. Theron remained silent, his heart heavy but unwavering. Then news arrived. Vandhara's army had suddenly retreated. Their forces, once poised for attack, had crumbled from within. A secret rebellion had overthrown King Rajan, led by a faction that had once been Theron's silent allies. Theron's plan had worked, but now he stood accused. As the king pondered Theron's fate, a mysterious figure entered the court, a former Vandharan general who had defected. He fell to his knees before King Suraj. "Your Majesty," the general said, "we owe our freedom to Minister Theron. He infiltrated our kingdom not as a traitor, but as a liberator. He sowed discord among our leaders, feeding us just enough truth to believe his deception, while secretly guiding our rebels to overthrow King Rajan. He saved your kingdom and ours." The court was stunned. The ministers who had called for Theron's death now looked at him in awe. The people who doubted him whispered in shame. The king, his emotions warring within him, slowly rose from his throne. "Theron," Suraj's voice was thick with emotion. "Why did you not tell me?" Theron finally looked up, his eyes weary but resolute. "Because, Your Majesty, had you known, you would have stopped me. Your heart is pure, and you would not have allowed me to bear such a burden. But sometimes, a loyal man must walk through fire alone to protect the ones he loves." Tears glistened in the king's eyes. He stepped forward and removed the chains from Duran's wrists himself. Then, in front of the entire court, he knelt before his minister. "I have doubted you, my friend, and yet you remain steadfast. You have shown me the true price of loyalty." Duran was reinstated as the king's most trusted advisor, his honor restored. But he carried no bitterness, no resentment. He had known the price of his choice all along. The kingdom of Vandhara, now under a just ruler, sought peace with Suraj's kingdom, forging an alliance that lasted for generations. Duran continued to serve, his wisdom now spoken of not only as strategy, but as an example of true devotion. And so, his story became a legend, a lesson passed down from generation to generation. True loyalty is not about seeking recognition. It is about standing firm, even when the world misunderstands you. It is about making sacrifices that no one may ever see, simply because it is the right thing to do. The tale of Duran, the loyal minister who was willing to be hated to save the one he served, lived on, a testament to the truth that sometimes the greatest acts of love and loyalty are those done in silence, without expectation of reward. As the storyteller ends, they look into the eyes of their audience, leaving them with a final thought. Would you have the strength to be loyal, even when the world turns against you?